Russia is unable to expand their gains near to Avdiivka. At the same time, Ukraine strikes the Russian army on the northern part with some success. Let's go to Stepova and check the timeline. It was yesterday and it is today. Just a light achievement of Ukrainian army, but nevertheless Russians were forced to retreat to the railroad, which is now their main defense line. Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. At first let's go for more details into the southern part of Avdiivka town, where Russia has its assault vector towards the town. There were some of the communication underground lines which Russia used for their infantry advancement, but now it seems like those lines were cut or the Russian infantry just unable to move forward. Ukraine has used the MLRS rocket artillery to target the place. It was confirmed today for sure. So the Russian group definitely stuck in this place, and the only supply road which they have is this one, which turned to be one more death road for them because their convoy there was ambushed. One more Russian convoy was stopped near to Avdiivka, mostly because of the mines. You may see the caterpillars are lying from that tank as well, by the way, and here we have it too. So Russia lost at least several of the vehicles out there. On this video we may see one BMP, one tank and one more BMP, also with caterpillar lying on the ground. And here we have the classical turret separation of the Russian T-72 tank. On this video you may see how Russia easily abandons their vehicles on the front lines. They go, they run away, and later on Ukraine finishes the Russian vehicles using the drone drops. And here's the general result of the Russian attack in Avdiivka, which happened yesterday. They lost many of the vehicles and it is just a single spot of the front lines. Oh my god. For me personally, it looks really crazy. All of those crazy attempts just moving forward with the convoys, those are useless almost in all of their cases. But somehow they just go and go like zombies. I wonder where they find this motivation. I know that our guys are very motivated. Russia is in lack of the motivation to liberate the lands, but still they are going. Could Russian propaganda act like that? I think yes, because you need more than just money motivation to go and just die on the front lines. Because for sure they see what happens to their friends. And one more spot, definitely Russia yesterday lost many of the vehicles in Avdiivka. If we zoom out a little, you may see the other Russian attack vector. I'm showing you it in the yellow color because it's better for you to see. The red color doesn't look so bright over here. So with this Russian assault, they're unable to help their forces in this place because there is the natural obstacle, the river, which is dividing the area. Also there is the lower ground compared to this and this area. I just want to show you it. So definitely the ground goes down, and if Russia goes there, they will be attacked by Ukrainian side, which is located on a higher ground in the city itself. That is why Russians who went on attack in this place are left on their own. And there is no any way they will propel forward because basically they're jammed on the northern part between the river and between the railroad. So the only way for advancement for them is the single street, and with the current resources and forces they are unable to perform it. So basically they are stuck, and if Ukraine does everything correctly in the coming days, we have the potential to cut them in this sector. And now let's go to Stepova, where Ukraine has some of the success. We don't have the latest update on this military map. However, there is the counterattack from Ukrainian side. Russia really struggles in this place because it's the open terrain. There are just few of the tree lines, and all of the Russian positions are well known, and they're targeted by Ukrainian drones, tanks and artillery systems. So far, all of their attack attempts of Stepova are just useless. So Avdiivka is indeed far to be encircled or taken by the Russian forces. The big fight for this town is ongoing since October, and Russia already lost thousands of forces out there. It means that strategically Russia is unable to achieve their big goal to occupy all of the Donbass. It is no-go scenario for them with their current tactics. Now let's go to the south, to Robotyne village. Russia fails to get the initiative on the south too, so Ukraine moves a little from Robotyne. It was yesterday and it is today. The gray area moved and the fight is ongoing for this tree line. Again, yesterday and today. You see, even though Russia has many of the attack attempts, attack vectors in the place, but they're not as effective as they could be. Especially using their elite forces, Davydov paratroop divisions. By the way, Shoigu is changing the command of those forces, replacing some of the key command generals, and I believe it also plays a great role in Russian failure. I do not have the other word of how to call the failed Russian attempts to get the initiative in those areas where Ukraine should absolutely struggle, but instead our forces take the ground. Just yesterday, Ukraine was very successful in the place, taking some of the fields under control. This area is quite large. And now Ukraine has two of the attack vectors. One is towards Novoprokopivka and the other one is on the north from Robotyne. Alright, we have more information uncovered about the Russian Ilyushin-76 transport military airplane that was downed not far away from Belgorod, Russian territory. Well, today Russia released this video showing how they probably transport the Ukrainian POWs to that particular airplane, but this evidence is kind of bad one, because it doesn't show anything. What airplane, we need the registration of the downed airplane and what is that airplane, who was transported. The video itself shows nothing, just an airfield somewhere in Russia. At what year this was filmed, in 90s, in 2000s, but Russia provides it as the evidence. It means that they are not able to show any sort of the bodies on the crash site. However, what worries me that today Ukraine has confirmed the list of the Russian presented Ukrainian POWs who should have been exchanged that day. So definitely that list is legit, as Ukrainian side says. It means that the information that some of the people from that list were already exchanged before is not correct and basically considered as a fake. So Russian list is legit, which removes the biggest evidence of the case. And definitely in my first video about the case, I said that we should wait a little for those list confirmation, and today unfortunately it was confirmed. Also, relatives of Ukrainian POWs confirmed that those were not exchanged before. By the way, today there was the meeting between relatives and Ukrainian military intelligence. The military intelligence still investigates the case. Our officials showed the pictures from the crash site which Russia publishes in the social media. I am unable to show you those pictures on this platform, but there were some of the body parts with tattoos. Sorry about saying that, but there was the part of the arm full of tattoos and also the hand, the visible side. All of the relatives from Ukrainian POWs watched those images and they say that they cannot confirm that those are their relatives. Meanwhile, today Putin on a meeting said that it's simply impossible for Russian air defense to shut down their own airplanes, which is complete nonsense. So he says that even if operator presses the button of the system to launch the missile, it wouldn't launch because of the special transponder which shows if the target enemy or friendly. It is complete nonsense. You may launch any missile to any kind of the target, friendly or not. And there were the cases then Russia shut down their own airplanes. So if Putin says this complete bullshit, it means that the situation is really fishy for the Russian side. Plus, where is the main evidence, the bodies of the soldiers of Ukrainian POWs? Well, I would even admit that at some point Russia might present some of the bodies, but without the DNA expertise, this is not legit. Also, why Ukraine is calling the international organizations to investigate the case, and Russia totally blocks it, even for their own civilian investigators. Yes, it happened to their military airplane, but still, there are many civilians were involved. But they restricted the access to all of the sites. The situation looks similar with MH17 that Russia downed over Donbass, and very similar to Prigozhin's case that happened to the civilian aircraft, but no civilian organization was involved in investigation. So Russia has some something to hide. We have the news about the Russian oil port and refinery facility, which was attacked by Ukrainian drones. The facility is unable to operate any longer. The critical equipment was damaged, so Ukraine knew where to aim. So it is not just the oil port where Russia sends the oil for storage and later it goes for the oil tankers. No, they produce fuel there as well. Diesel, petrol and other stuff. Now they're unable to do it. As you can see, some simple drones might stop this huge facility from its operation. By the way, they're also unable to restore the operation of the oil refinery and oil port in Ust-Luga, near to St. Petersburg. That attack from Ukraine was also really successful. Also, Russian media sources say that there was one huge kaboom near to St. Petersburg recorded today. Clearly, it is the ground kaboom. The 3rd Ukrainian Assault Brigade is now testing their remote demining robots. So here we go with it. Oh my god, what happened to this one? Well, it survived, because they made very robust. And even after it turns off, it is still able to continue its movement. Doesn't matter what side it landed on. Ukraine is at the final stage of testing the remote-controlled kamikaze submarines that might change the situation in the Black Sea for the Russian Marine Fleet. Those are indeed hard to detect, and Ukraine will be ready to use them, I think, this summer. The British-supplied anti-drone systems work quite well. Ukraine was able to down some of the Shahid drones with the help of the electronic warfare, which our friends from UK presented to us not long time ago. As you can see, Russia uses different modification of the Shahids. This one is gray, this one is dark color. It is hard to identify this one in the night skies. Nevertheless, all of them were shot down, not even using expensive weaponry like missiles, Patriot systems, SAM-T, RST or NASAMS. It could be a breakthrough in defending, for example, Kiev region. What the heck Russia is doing with their China-made Golf mobiles? Well, they installed the smoke devices in them, inside, let's say. Yes, in the open-air cars. How would driver just survive that? By the way, here you may see that they put some of the mines using this vehicle. My friends, there are some of the videos that I'm only able to share on my Telegram channel because this platform doesn't give the green light for this type of the content to go through its system. That's why if I publish those here, I'll be quite restricted. But you may always follow me on Telegram, which you may find in the video description just below. I created my own group more than a year ago and I post there different content, so I would highly appreciate if you subscribe for my channel over there. There we also have some of the discussion, including the political discussion. Today I even created the voting for the United States future president. Who would you support? Biden, Trump, Democrat candidate but not Biden, Republican candidate but not Trump. The result is very interesting, but to see it you need to go to my group and check it out. Plus I'm thinking of creating the other channel dedicated only to the world news, to separate a little the Ukrainian topic and the world news. I know that everything is connected in our lives, but I think it's the proper way to do. I will also create the voting for that on my Telegram channel, so you are welcome to vote. But since I do not have that channel yet, let's speak about the world events. For example, what is happening in Texas is just crazy. I mean, there is definitely the problem with migration to the United States from the other countries, including Mexico. People are not running from the war or something, they're running for the better economy, for better life, let's say, but at the same time they're not pretty much qualified for the jobs in the United States. They do not know the local language. I know that there is huge Spanish community, for example, in Texas, in California, but still mostly those immigrants stay without the jobs, which increases the criminal activity in the bordering states. So Texas state authorities decided to cope with this problem in their own way. They constructed the barricades at the border with Mexico. The effectiveness of those barricades, I would say, under the huge question, but it created a huge national division in the United States. Because Texas governor released a statement against the White House and many Republican states did support it. President Biden gave the order to remove the barricade at the border with the United States in the next 24 hours. But the governor of Texas doesn't agree with that. So what is the bigger issue? The problem with migrants or the problem between the states in this case? My own opinion that those useless barricades do not worsen this huge confrontation. The migration problem should be solved, but not in this way, because the way is not effective and it creates the national division. And you know who's laughing? Russia. They already say that Texas People's Republic should be created. Well, after all, I don't think that it will happen because finally logic prevails. But it seems like the Republican MAGA group doesn't want to help Ukraine. They also do not want to solve the migration crisis. They just speak about it, but they fail to sign any kind of the deal with other party. It means that Ukraine is not able to receive the military support from the United States. It means that Ukraine is not able to liberate its lands and will go for total defense. And Putin, in a middle-term perspective, has all the chances to get more ground, more cities, including Avdiivka and others, because he has more resources. Yes, for now, the Russian strategy on the front lines doesn't work, but it is just for now. For Ukraine, it is very bad. That is why I'm oriented to speak about it on the other channel which I will create, dedicated to politics and what is happening around the topic. Meanwhile, we have some of the good news from Europe. European leaders are ready to strip Hungary's voting right if Orban blocks approval of €50 billion help for Ukraine. The summit will start on February the 1st, so not long time to wait. That is why analytics say that Orban will probably vote for the military support of Ukraine. Otherwise, he would lose the veto ability, let's say. The United States of America and Israel are up to sign the agreement to supply up-to-date aircraft to Israel. We're speaking about 25 of F-35s, 25 of F-15s, and 12 Apache helicopters. All of that stuff will be supplied to Israel, not as the military help, but Israel would just purchase it. The New York Times gave some of the insights from Pentagon that the United States Military Command thinks that North Korea might start the confrontation with South Korea. Yes, the actual military attack. Or they will call it a special military operation as usual. As you may see, many of the dictators around the world are uprising. Probably because of this global threat, the United States of America decided to move some of the nukes to the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom itself has the nuclear weaponry, but it's better to reinforce the allies. My friends, please don't forget to press your huge like to this video. By doing so, you help me a lot. And also, if you want to support my job, there will be some of the links in the video description just below. Special thanks for my Patreon supporters and the sponsors of my channel on YouTube. My friends, you are awesome. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.